Solving quadratic equations with imaginary solutions. So first, let's review the definition for an imaginary number. The imaginary number I is defined to be the square root of -1. So the square root of -a equals I times the square root of a. We can now use the imaginary number I to simplify square roots of negative numbers. First, take the i's out, then simplify the radical. So remember, when you see the negative, remember that this is the same thing as the square root of -1 times the square root of 5. Okay? So we replace the square root of -1 with the I. So we get I, and can we take the square root of 5 without getting a decimal? No, we cannot. So that's going to be our simplified radical. Okay, so here we got the square root of -1 again, so we're going to get the I for the -1. And then taking the square root of 25, we get 5. And we're going to use the plus and the minus well, we're simplifying right now, so let's just go ahead and leave it 5i. When we're solving, we want to use the plus and the minus. Okay? So, square root of 45, that's going to break down to the square root of -1. And now I can think of two factors, one being a perfect square, that would be 9 and 5. 9 times 5 is 45. So we're going to have I. The square root of 9 is 3. And then radical 5 on the end. Okay? So that's our simplified radical. Why don't you do this one? And I will check what you get in class. Number 5, solve. So remember, when solving, we have some different methods for solving a quadratic. We could use the quadratic formula. We could try factoring. Remember, not all quadratics are factorable. So, I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula here. So our A value is 5, B is 6, and C is 5. So plugging the numbers in, so negative, and then plugging in the 6 goes in for B. Plugging the 6 in for B. The 5 goes in for A. And the other 5 goes in for C. And then the 5 goes in for A. Okay, let's start simplifying. We get a -6 out front. Let's see. This is 36. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 4 is 100. Over 10. Don't forget your denominator. There was a couple of people last semester who forgot the denominator. Okay. Continuing to simplify. 36 minus 100 is -64. So that's going to convert to an I. And 8 times 8 is 64, so 8i. Okay. The discriminant, remember that word? The discriminant is negative, so we have two imaginary solutions. Okay? Now this is not quite simplified completely because 6, 10, and 8, these are all 2 goes into all 3 of them. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Okay, so what do I know about this graph? I know, number one, that this parabola opens up because it's positive. Okay, I also know that because my discriminant is negative, I have imaginary solutions, which means that the graph does not cross this line, which means that it's going to need to be up here in the first or second quadrant. Well, let's take a quick look and see where it is. All right, so there it is. So I could have got some points, but that's good enough. So here is my answer. Okay, number 6. We have to do a little bit of work here before we solve this. Remember that in order to solve a quadratic, we need to first set the equation equal to 0. And since my a value is positive here, I'm going to go ahead and make this side 0. So canceling out the 5x, canceling out the minus 3. So we get 3x squared okay, and now we're ready to use the quadratic formula. Let's see. Okay, so the thing here that you need to be careful about is because our b value is -5, don't forget, when you plug it into the formula goes -b. So we're going to have a -5. And then our b value is -5. Do not forget, it needs to go inside the parentheses because we're squaring a -5. So quickly, let's simplify this. See, we're going to get 25, and then 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 4 is 36. So we're going to get 25 minus 36. Okay. 25 minus 36. Okay, last step, we don't want a negative under the radical, so we're going to make this -1 here into an I. So our answer is going to be 5 plus or minus I, okay, that's for the negative, radical 11 over 6. Now there's two solutions here. There's the positive, the plus part, and the minus part. Okay, so I'm going to save number 7 for you to do. So tomorrow I'll be checking your roots for number 7, and I'll be checking your simplified radical for number 4.